guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I will be showing you some tips and tricks. There will be 5 steps on how I avoid having cakey foundation. Now I'm not saying that this is like the perfect way to avoid cakey foundation. I'm not knocking anybody's hustle, whatever you do to avoid cakey foundation. If it's none of these steps that I've provided for you and you don't have cakey foundation, kudos to you, but I'm just showing you what works for me. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, like this video, and if you are ready to see my 5 steps on how to avoid cakey foundation, then just keep on. Okay, so step number 1 to how to avoid cakey foundation, you want to have a skincare routine. So that may, everybody's skincare is going to be different based off their texture and if they're oily, dry, combination skin. So whatever you've been using that works for you, do that. You want to always take off your makeup. I would say exfoliate before you apply makeup. I know that might not be good for some people's skin types. I have really extremely dry skin and I don't wear makeup every day, but when I do, I always try to exfoliate my skin. But you want to always take the makeup off your face. Use a cleansing oil, whatever you want to use that works for you. If you do want to see a skincare routine, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see my skincare routine and what I do to take off my makeup and the products that I use. If you want to see that, I would love to film that for you guys. So yeah, just let me know. So step number 2, you want to have a moisturizer. Now the moisturizer that I've been using probably for the past couple of months is the Kim Tai Ofra Wanderlush. This is such an amazing moisturizer. I want to order like 5 more of these just so I never run out. But this is a great moisturizer, especially if you have dry skin. This is a great primer before you use your foundation. If you don't want to use a different primer, you could also use this because it does have glycerin in it, which allows the product to get tacky on your skin to allow the foundation to stick and give a flawless base. So at this point, you also want to prime your skin. So you can use a setting facial water primer. I use this all the time. It's the Smashbox primer water before you apply your foundation, and you just want to let that sink into your skin. You can just, fan yourself a little bit, just let it dry. But yeah, so I would use that. You can also use Benefit Professional, whatever type of primer that works best for your skin. If you have large pores, you want to use a mattifying primer to shrink those pores, to not let them intensify at all. So next we're going to move on to foundation. So for dry skin people, I would say to use any type of luminous type of foundation. The L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation is my absolute favorite. NARS Sheer Glow is amazing, and the new Wet n Wild Photo Finish one, I do know Maybelline has some. I mean, just whatever foundation works for you. If you want something more luminous instead of drying looking, I do love a matte finish as well. That's why I love the L'Oreal Pro Matte. I love this Clinique one. This is more for, I would say, oily skin, because it is kind of like a matte finish. So if you do have oily skin, I would suggest not using a foundation with SPF. That's just going to give you that oily finish. I know it's summertime and you want to protect yourself from the heat, but if you're going to be inside, like if you're working or whatever, you don't need an SPF. You're not going to be outside in the sun, and I wouldn't suggest that you be outside in the heat. I live in Texas, and there's just no way that you could just be outside for a long period of time anyway. So I would say the Makeup Forever Stick Foundation is really good. This Clinique one is very good if you have oily skin. And the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, like I stated earlier, is very great if you have oily skin. So including step number 3, you want to apply your foundation in small amounts. Like, you don't want to just blob a whole bunch of foundation on, because it's easier to add than to subtract, I believe. So you just want to put a small amount. If you would like to add more, you can do so then, but I would suggest that you go in with a small amount first and then build up to your liking. Okay, so at this time, of course, you want to do your concealer and contour, and if you're oily, I would suggest that you use powder contour instead of additional cream products. Okay, so step number 4, you want to always set your foundation, your cream contours, your concealers. You want to set that with powders. Now for my oily skin girls, you want to make sure that you are really like setting it, and I would say use a damp beauty sponge to set your concealer and your other powders. I would say use a translucent powder instead of a heavy foundation that's just going to make you look that's going to make you look even more cakey. So I wouldn't say apply a powder foundation on top of a full cover foundation, because that could also make you feel and look cakey. So I would just say use a damp beauty sponge, and that goes for dry skin girls as well. I always use my damp beauty sponge to set my concealers. Lastly, you are going to want to use a setting spray. Any kind of setting spray would do. Urban Decay has great ones. This is one from the drugstore. I love this L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. You always want to set your foundation so it can sink all those powders and all those products into your skin. And I did forget to mention, if you are oily, you never want to apply oils to your face. I know this Instagram trend with the Fasali elixirs and all that kind of stuff, those pink droplets as they use. I wouldn't use that if I'm oily. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but if you are oily, that's just going to add more oil and accentuate all your texture and oils to, I would say avoid oil. I did forget to mention that. But yes, use your use setting spray in order to lock all that. Okay, that is it, you guys. I hope you all enjoyed these 5 steps to avoid cakey foundation. And you know what? Just makeup is whatever you want it to be. Don't try to think too much into it. It is fun. It's a hobby for me. I love doing it. I've always loved makeup, but whatever works for you works for you. If none of these steps apply to you and you never have cakey foundation, kudos to you, girl. I pat you on the back, but I'm just showing you what works for me. If you did enjoy this video, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video.
Doing like 95